Good evening. I've never sounded that big in my life. Good evening. Welcome to Normandy Church and our second annual community organ concert for Christmas. This is our second weekend of activities for Christmas at Normandy, and we're so glad that you chose to spend your evening with us. Tonight we have just a beautiful section of music that'll be done on the organ, piano. There'll be duets, there'll be trios, there'll be solos. Is that it? Okay, that's it. If there's a quartet, it will be a surprise. How's that? Anyway, just the next couple of weeks, can you believe Christmas is a week away? About a week and a half. Next weekend, on the 21st and 22nd of December, we are having our annual open house where the mansion is open to the public. It's all decorated for Christmas. This year, going along with our Advent theme, it is the songs of Christmas. So different rooms will be themed for different Christmas carols. So you'll want to see that if you can. It'll be Saturday and Sunday night from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's open and free to whoever wants to come in and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful building that we are blessed with. And then Christmas Eve, I often say it's December 24th this year. So our services are at 4 o'clock, 6 p.m., and 8 p.m. And the 4 o'clock is going to be led by our children's ministry, and so more of a family-oriented service. And they will still be candlelight and glow sticks at 4 o'clock for Silent Night. And then at 6 and 8, the more traditional services. You are welcome and invited to come to any or all of those evening services that you would like. And we still have Sundays going the 22nd and the 29th that we'll be worshiping each week at 10 a.m. There is a basket that will be on the table outside as you exit, and any funds there will go towards maintaining and improving the organ, which is hard to improve on since it's fairly new, but you never know. So we have an organ fund that we will be supplying as the years go through. It's wonderful to have this instrument. We call it the Mighty Rogers, and Bertha, is it Big Bertha, is what Noah has affectionately named it. So we're very glad to have it used so well by so many talented folks. And without further ado, I will introduce to you Noah Carpenter, our organist here, and a good friend. And I'll leave it at that for now. Or I'll get in trouble probably. So welcome, Noah Carpenter.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. This is so exciting to be able to do this again this year. It is such an amazing instrument to play and such a joy to play, but it's even more fun when I get to share the bench with several amazing musicians, friends, and colleagues. And so we have a fun program for you this evening. I hope you guys enjoy it. As you see, there are many instruments sitting up here on the stage this evening, and there's also many organists here that are going to be playing them all tonight. So should be a fun night. We're going to start out the night doing something pretty unusual. In front of you, there are these little red books called hymnals, and we're going to use them. So if you would please pull out your hymnal and join me on page 234, we are going to sing verses 1 and 3 of O Come All Ye Faithful. Rick has mentioned it several times, and the best part of being a musician here at Normandy is listening to all of you sing. It's fun to play this, but it's even more fun when there is such an amazing sound behind me filling the room. So next up, I'm going to make a quick adjustment here really quick. There we go. Next up, I'm excited to introduce Chris Baird to the bench. Chris is going to tell you a little bit about her pieces, and they are spectacular. Looking forward to them. So, do you want me to crank down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good evening and Merry Christmas. I just wanted to introduce you to the pieces that I was playing tonight. The theme that Normandy has been having during this Advent and Christmas season is Songs of Christmas. And I'm having pieces tonight to play for you that are songs that maybe aren't normally heard, at least not very often in the church. And I want to tell you a little bit about them. The Christmas triptych that I'm going to play tonight is based on 3 different Noels. And I'm so happy to play it because this arrangement is by John Ferguson, who I had the pleasure of studying with when I went to Kent State University with my music degree many years ago. The first setting is an arrangement of a piece called "'Twas in the Moon," which was in the moon of wintertime. It's considered a French-Canadian carol, and it also happens to be found in the United Methodist Hymnal in the pews at 244. And it's thought to be the earliest Christmas carol ever composed in North America. The carol is a collaborative work between a 17th century French Jesuit missionary to the Huron Indians and a 20th century Canadian newspaper correspondent in Quebec set to a French tune. Hugh McKellar, a leading Canadian hymnologist and authority on Indigenous song, calls this carol, and I quote, an interpretation, not a translation, written to provide English-speaking Canadians with an opportunity to sing the first Christmas carol ever heard in the province of Ontario. The second Noel is called What Is This Lovely Fragrance, which is a 17th century traditional carol that offers a meditation on the visit of the shepherds to the Christ child. Part of verse 1 reads, "What is this lovely fragrance wafting like the scents of flowers in spring? Shepherds, oh tell us, one such beauty, hear you not heavenly caroling?" And the last piece in the triptych is a very energetic setting of a carol called Cold December Flies Away. It's a Catalonian carol from the 16th century, and amazingly, this one is also in the United Methodist Hymnal at number 233. And believe me, this final Noel does indeed fly away very quickly, as you will hear me play it in a few minutes. Following the 3 Noels, I'm going to go and play 5 variations on an English carol, which many of you will recognize, I Saw 3 Ships Come Sailing In, skillfully arranged by one of my favorite new, younger composers, Jason D. Payne. I Saw 3 Ships Come Sailing In is a traditional and popular English carol, and the first published versions of this carol date back to the 17th century. So I trust you will enjoy all these interesting Christmas carols as we celebrate songs of the season here at Normandy.
Thank you so much, Chris. It has been such a joy having Chris here with us. Chris and I met last year, about 2 days before this concert, prior to it, and with...
We had actually met several years ago when you were a student.
Oh, yes, yeah. We met years ago when I was a student, and then reconnected just a few days before this concert. I noticed somebody had liked Normandy's Facebook page, and there was an organ for the profile. So obviously I was intrigued who this was, and messaged Chris, and she joined us for the concert, and I guess she loved the organ so much that she stayed for a whole nother year. So it's such a joy to have Chris here with us at Normandy and to be able to have two organists playing at once. And so thank you for being here and thank you for playing. Next up, another good friend of mine, David Comer, and I are going to do a duet on Go Tell It on the Mountain by John Innes or Ines? Innes, wasn't even close. David is somebody I have known since I was a freshman at Wright State and have shared instruments many times before, and it's always such a joy to get to work with David and even more of a joy to be able to play. So. Thank you, David. This next piece, excuse me as I turn around on the organ here. This next piece is a piece that I'll be playing. It's become one of my favorite Christmas pieces of the season. It's called Fantasy on Two Well-Known Christmas Carols, being The First Noel and Good King Wenceslas by Johnny West. It is a great piece that shows off just about every side of the organ and what it can do. And so I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Now, following that, we're going to sing one of the quietest hymns in the hymnal, Silent Night. So please join me again in your hymnals, 239. We're going to sing verses 1 and 4 of Silent Night. Alrighty, next up is Miss Michaela Chupka. This is Michaela's second year playing with the organ with us, and we are so excited to have her. She has officially beat me as the youngest organist here tonight. And so Michaela first started playing on the organ probably 3 years ago, I think, when you first came up, and has just blossomed into such an amazing musician, and it's such a joy to have you play with us tonight, Michaela. So, Miss Michaela Chupka. Thank you, Michaela. Next up, Chris Baird and I are going to be sharing the bench doing a duet that we've done before, and it was so much fun we had to do it again. Robert Vandal's Deck the Halls. Mr. Vandal was my late piano professor, and his wife Karen Vandal was my father's piano professor. And when they sat down and played these duets, it was phenomenal. As soon as they touched the keys, it was the greatest thing you'd ever heard. And so we miss Mr. Vandal very dearly, and I was so honored that Chris agreed to play with me, and it's a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoy Deck the Halls. Alrighty, next up is Mr. David Comer. Thank you so much, David. If you haven't noticed already, the organ has many, many different sides. And it's so fun to be able to show all the different sounds, different levels of sounds that it can do. The organ is a character of its own. And the reason we name it Bertha and give it a name is because it is alive. Even just a few days ago, it was acting up a little bit. And Susie told me, well, just go show it's who's boss, whip it back into shape. And if any of you know Susie, you know that is definitely a Susie. And I told Susie, I said, I am not in charge. If the organ's having a bad day, we're all going to have a bad day. She is very much in charge. So we were very blessed with this instrument, and thank you to all of our musicians for demonstrating all of its amazing sides so beautifully tonight. I have to point out the middle piece that David played, In the Bleak Midwinter, was arranged by Mr. Gilbert Martin, who we are so honored to have with us this evening. So Merry Christmas and welcome, Mr. Martin. Thank you for being here with us, and bravo, what a wonderful piece. And bravo, David. It was played beautifully. This next piece actually was inspired by David's performance last year. It's by Richard Elliott. It's called a very fun arrangement on Good King Wenceslas mixed with the Nutcracker. So it's 4 movements. You can clearly hear the Nutcracker, but you have to listen carefully and see if you can hear the hymn, Good King Wenceslas, in it. So I hope you enjoy. Alrighty, next up, we're finally going to put all of these instruments to use. With all three of us playing, we're going to play a Christmas medley of some of our favorite hymns put together. So Chris, David. Here's your musician tip for the night. Never close your music, because you will lose it. Alrighty, before we leave this evening, we're going to end our concert tonight singing Joy to the World, but I just want to give a huge thank you to all these amazing musicians for playing up here this evening. Big thank you to Pastor Mark, Pastor David, Rick Lewis, our incredible AVL team who is making all of this magic up on the screen happen and live stream, and we couldn't do any of this without all of you guys. I also want to give a big thank you to our wonderful guests in the back from 10 Wilmington Place. They came out to visit us tonight, and we're so happy to have you here. So thank you again for joining us this evening. I'm going to ask you to open those hymnals again, and let's even stand for this one if you can. 246 verses 1 and 4, Joy to the World. Thank you all again so much for joining us. Thank you to these wonderful musicians, friends, colleagues. Merry Christmas to all of you, and thank you for coming.